Good morning. I'm in Proverbs chapter 11 this morning, and I was just reading verse 14, which a lot of us know. I just had an extra thought about it. Verse 14, where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. And that's some good advice, to have many counsellors, different opinions around where you can hear some different thoughts and then make a decision on a matter. There's safety in that. It'll keep you safe in the way you go. But as I was reading this, I immediately thought, especially in our day and age, there's a lot of different councils, the UN Council, and I think there's the WEF is giving counsel to the world, and the WHO is giving different counsel. There's a multitude of counsellors, but we also got to check the type of counsel we're receiving and who we're receiving it from, and showing some godly discernment about what we do with the counsel. So in the multitude of counsellors there is safety, but we've got to check where the counsel's coming from and what we're listening to. And as an example of this in 1 Kings, Solomon, King David's son, had just died, and Rehoboam, his son, has now been made king. And the people of Israel come to Rehoboam to make a request. So in chapter 12 of 1 Kings, Rehoboam goes to Shechem, for all Israel were to come to Shechem to make him king. But his brother, I think it was his brother, Jeroboam, had fled into Egypt, and he heard of it, and Jeroboam came and called him, and Jeroboam, all the congregation of Israel, came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, verse 4, thy father made our yoke grievous. So he's saying Solomon made us work really hard, and he was pretty rough on us. Your father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. So the congregation of Israel and Jeroboam were saying, look, Solomon was pretty heavy on us, and but if you just make it a little bit lighter, so we're not working so hard, then we'll serve you. And Rehoboam tells him to go away for 3 days and to come back. And look at verse 6. Rehoboam now goes to seek counsel. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. All right, so probably not some pretty good counsel. These guys stood with Solomon. Solomon was one of the most successful kings of Israel. It would have been some good counsel from these older men. But what does verse 8 say? Rehoboam, he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. So where does Rehoboam go? I tell my kids this, and I used to tell the youth this when I ran a youth group. Don't go get advice on big life decisions from people the same age as you. They're still going through the same things that you're going through. They haven't come out the other side and gained some wisdom and know how certain things work out. That's exactly what Rehoboam does. He gets rid of the counsel, forsook the counsel of the old men that have lived and seen some things, and goes to some young men that grew up with him. And what do they say? And he said unto them, what counsel give ye, that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put on us lighter? He says, what should I say to these people? And pretty much they say, we'll read it, verse 10. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. He's going to make the yoke even heavier. Verse 11, and now whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. And what happens? There's a unified country, nation, Jeroboam, all the people came to Rehoboam. And verse 13, the king answered the people roughly, forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men. So you've got multiple counselors in life. In the multitude of counselors there is safety. But your counsel that you're going to receive from people is not all going to say the same thing. What you got to do is bring it back to your final authority, the book, and test out the counsel that you receive, and pray to the Lord and ask for his guidance. And what ends up happening is the nation splits, and that pretty much starts what is the downfall of Israel, a split, a divided nation, and that goes into captivity in Babylon not too many generations later. Anyway, so in the multitude of counsels there is safety, but check out the counsel you're getting. Make sure it's from the book. God bless you.